is the Supreme Soul, and he has no beginning. He is transcendental to the material modes of nature. And beyond the existence of this material world, he is perceivable everywhere because he is self-effulgent. And by his self-effulgent luster, the entire creation is maintained. Okay, so let's just take a look at this translation. It says that he's beyond the existence. Let's see. He is transcendental to the material modes of nature. Point one. Oh no, let's see. Point one is he has no beginning. That means he has no end also. Point two, he is transcendental to the material modes of nature. Point three, and beyond the existence of this material world. Point four, he is perceivable everywhere because he is self-effulgent. And point five, by his self-effulgent luster, the entire creation is maintained. Okay. Purport by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as being without beginning. He is Purusha, the Supreme Spirit. Purusha means person. When we think of a person in our present experience, that person has a beginning. This means that he has taken birth and that there is a history from the beginning of his life. But the Lord is particularly mentioned here as Anadi, beginningless. If we examine all persons, we will find that everyone has a beginning. But when we approach a person who has no beginning, he is the Supreme Person. That is the definition given in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, the Supreme Person, the Supreme Controller. He is without beginning, and he is the beginning of everyone. This definition is found in all Vedic literatures. Well, that makes Krishna unique. No one can emulate him. The Lord is described as the soul or spirit. What is the definition of spirit? Spirit is perceivable everywhere. Brahman means great. His greatness is perceived everywhere. And what is that greatness? Consciousness. We have personal experience of consciousness, where it is spread all over the body. In every hair follicle of our body, we can feel consciousness. This is individual consciousness, but similarly, there is super consciousness. The example can be given of a small light and the sunlight. The sunlight is perceived everywhere, even within the room in the sky or in the sky. But the small light is experienced within a specific limit. Similarly, our consciousness is perceived within the limit of our particular body. But the superconsciousness or the existence of God is perceived everywhere. He is present everywhere by his energy. It is stated in the Vishnu Purana that whatever we find anywhere and everywhere is the distribution of the energy of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita also, it is confirmed that the Lord is all pervading and exists everywhere by his two kinds of energy, one spiritual and the other material. Both the spiritual and material energies are spread everywhere. It's the proof of the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The existence of consciousness everywhere is not temporary. It is without beginning, and because it is without beginning, it is also without end. The theory that consciousness develops at a certain stage of material combination is not accepted herein, for the consciousness which exists everywhere is said to be without beginning. The materialist or atheistic theory, stating that there stating that there is no soul, that there is no God, and that consciousness is the result of a combination of matter is not acceptable. Matter is not beginningless. It has a beginning. As the material body has a beginning, the universal body does not also, sorry, uh, the universal body does also. And as our material body has begun on the basis of our soul, the entire gigantic universal body has begun on the basis of the Supreme Soul. Vedanta Sutra, the Janmad Asya, this entire material exhibition, its creation, its growth, its maintenance, and its dissolution, is an emanation from the Supreme Person. In Bhagavad Gita, also, the Lord says, I am the beginning, the source of birth of everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described here. He is not a temporary person, nor does he have a beginning. He is without a cause, and he is the cause of all causes. Para means transcendental, beyond the creative energy. The Lord is the creator of the creative energy. We can see that there is a creative energy in the material world, but he is not under this, he is not under this energy. He is Prakriti Para, beyond this energy. He is not subjected to the threefold miseries created by the material energy because he is beyond it. The threefold energy is created by the material energy. I'm sorry, the modes of material nature do not touch him. It is explained here. Swayam Jyoti, he is light himself. We have experience in the material world of one light's beginning, that one light's beginning a reflection of another, just as moonlight is a reflection of the sunlight. Sunlight is also the reflection of the Brahmajyoti. Similarly, Brahmajyoti, the spiritual effulgence, is a reflection of the body of the Supreme Lord. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Yasya Prabha Brahmabhuta, the Brahmajyoti or Brahman effulgence, is due to his bodily luster. Therefore, it is said here, Vayam Jyoti, he himself is light. His light is distributed in different ways as the Brahmajyoti, as sunlight, and as moonlight. Bhagavad Gita confirms that in the spiritual world, there is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or electricity. The Upanishads also confirm this because the bodily luster of the Supreme Personality Godhead is sufficient to illuminate the spiritual world. There is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or any light or electricity. This self-illumination also contradicts the theory that the spirit soul or the spiritual consciousness develops at a certain point in material combination. The term Swayam Jyoti indicates that there is no tinge of anything material or any material reaction. It is confirmed here that the concept of the Lord's pervasiveness is due to his illumination everywhere. We have experienced that the sun is situated in one place, but the sunlight is diffused all around for millions and millions of miles. That is our practical experience. Similarly, although the supreme light is situated in his personal abode, Vaikuntha or Vrindavana, his light is diffused not only in the spiritual world, but beyond that, in the material world also. That light is reflected by the sun globe, and the sunlight is reflected by the moon globe. Thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material worlds. The the Brahma Samhita 5.37 confirms this. Goloka eva nivasati atilatma buddha. He is living in Goloka, but still he is present all over the creation. He is the super soul of everything, the supreme personality of Godhead, and he has innumerable transcendental qualities. It is also concluded that although he is undoubtedly a person, he is not a Purusha of this material world. Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that beyond this material world, there can be a person. Therefore, they are impersonals. But it is explained very nicely here that the personality of Godhead is beyond material existence. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare.
Well, there's a lot of information in this book, but here, Canto 3, chapter 26, verse number 3. So we can spend a long time not unraveling, but discussing all the points that are being made here. But the main point is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Soul. He has no beginning. He is transcendental to the material modes of nature. And beyond the existence of this material world, he is perceivable everywhere because he is self-effulgent. And by his self-effulgent luster, the entire creation is maintained. Now, there's the sun during the day, and there's the moon at night. Both the light of the sun and the light of the moon are coming from Krishna. Uh, they they're reflections. So the sun is a reflection, and the moon is a reflection. Let's see where it says that here. It says that the Lord is described as the soul or the spirit. What is the definition of spirit? Spirit is perceivable everywhere. Brahman means great. His greatness is perceived everywhere. And what is that greatness? Consciousness. We have personal experience of consciousness, where it is spread all over the body, in every hair follicle of our body. We can feel consciousness. This is individual consciousness. Similarly, there is super consciousness. The example can be given of a small light and a sunlight. Sunlight is perceived everywhere, and even uh, uh, sunlight is sorry, sunlight can be. Uh, this is individual consciousness. Similarly, there is superconsciousness. The example can be given of a small light and the sunlight. The sunlight is perceived everywhere, even within the room or in the sky, but the small light is experienced within a specific limit. Similarly, our consciousness is perceived within the limit of our particular body, but the superconscious or the existence of God is perceived everywhere. He is present everywhere by his energy. It is stated in the Vishnu Purana that whatever we find anywhere and everywhere is the distribution of the energy of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita also, it is confirmed that the Lord is all pervading and exists beyond and exists everywhere by his two kinds of energy, one spiritual and the other material. Both the spiritual and material energies are spread everywhere, and that is the proof of the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, if we think about this, this is actually amazing that the Lord is expanded everywhere. Uh, that means everywhere in the spiritual world and in the material world. So the light we see in the spiritual world is coming from the effulgence of the Lord, and the light we see in the material world is a expansion of the light coming from the Lord. So therefore, the Lord is illuminating everything, spiritual and material, and therefore, uh, there's no place where the Lord is not present. That is the realization of a devotee. And materialistic people are not conscious of this. They don't accept such a thing as of the Lord's omnipotence being present everywhere, not only in the heart of every living entity, not only in every atom. Uh, and uh, they can't even imagine that the potency of the Lord is all encompassing throughout the entire universe. And no one is equal to him or greater than him. Why don't they accept that? Because they're envious. Because they cannot emulate the Lord. They think they can. Just like, what is it called? The Bose, what is it? The Bose, uh, they're trying to, through experimentation, uh, emulate the light energy of the Lord by studying these. Well, basically, what they're doing is splitting atoms, and
The hydron,
huh?
the the collider, the
Yeah, the collide. Yeah. So all day long, all night long, they're splitting atoms in these very long, very, very long atom splitting tunnels. And all they do is just split atoms every day. And they give names to any particles that are small, that they claim is smaller than an atom. Of course, that's not true. The atom is the smallest particle, but it's boring. You just split atoms all the time, you see. And they've spent millions of dollars on these uh, long tunnels, and the split atoms every day. And what do they have to, what can they say that they have discovered? Once you split atoms, how many times can you split them? Right? Everything material is finite. So basically, they keep going to their very expensive atom splitting tunnels, and every day they do the same thing. Uh, they're just splitting atoms. Now they can say, well, when we split the atoms, then we discover new, let's say, particles. All right. So you study, you're getting uh, uh, particles by splitting atoms. What is the use of it, right? I mean, you can also go on a beach and pick up sand, right? And there's millions and millions of pieces of sand. But if you analyze all the pieces of sand, that doesn't mean that you have achieved a great, let's say, milestone. In the same way, there's these atom splitting, uh, you know, tunnels that they have. They're very expensive, and there are tunnels like that around the world now. But every day they're splitting atoms. What do they? What's the whole purpose of all that? Right? Everything in the material world is limited. Everything material in the material world is limited. So you can see how boring it is to be a nuclear scientist every day. You come in and they study the atomic tunnel that they built, and they identify uh, more. They split atoms, and then they give names to the little bits of those atoms. And basically, what have they, I'd say, achieved? I don't know. Let's look this up. Let's ask this question. What is the achievement in the last of splitting atoms with the super tunnel that they built?
Hadron Collider. That's what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in Europe.
No, they have them around the world. They don't have it just in Europe. So what have they achieved by splitting atoms and giving names to all these subatomic particles? And you see, they go every day to the tunnel that they've built, and the tunnels are really long. Right? And I guess they're just watching, atoms being split.
I heard that some places in Europe, they don't want to give so much electricity to this project because it is depriving the people around
Yeah,
of the electricity.
yeah.
It needs a lot of power.
But what are they achieving by doing that every day?
They are claiming
What's that?
they're claiming some tremendous progress here.
Well, let's
The,
hear what their progress is.
the Large Hadron Collider (LHC) at CERN has made significant progress by colliding not only protons but heavy ions like lead nuclei to study extreme states of matter and fundamental forces. These heavy ion collisions create conditions similar to those in the universe just after the Big Bang.
This is
Gen-
nonsense. This is
generating
complete nonsense. Go ahead.
generating quark glucon plasma. This plasma is a state of matter where quarks and gluons, usually confined within protons and neutrons, move freely, offering scientists insights into strong nuclear force which binds atomic nuclei together. Recent experiments at the LHC have revealed that QCP, that is quark gluon plasma, behaves more like a perfect liquid with minimal viscosity rather than a gas, as originally hypothesized. By studying the transitions in the QCP, scientists aim to understand how quarks and gluons form the protons and neutrons present in all atoms today. In particular, detectors like ALICE, ATLAS, and CMS have been refined to capture the details of particle interactions at ultra-relativistic energies, enabling researchers to map properties like the temperature and energy density of QCP with unparalleled precision. The third run of the LHC, ongoing through the 2025, will focus on these heavy ion collisions to further investigate QCP and explore particles that could explain the universe's asymmetry between matter and antimatter. These advancements help physicists get closer to answers about the fundamental structure of matter and the origins of the universe's current state, paving the way for future upgrades and experiments planned for the high luminosity LHC. So more investments.
This is complete nonsense. They didn't waste any money.
Then earlier, what you're saying about Bose, the same thing, Maharaj. Bose
Yeah.
Einstein condensates, the state of the matter, same thing that studying with these experiments.
Well, look, rather than helping poor people, stopping disease, things like that, they're wasting billions of dollars on this type of research, and it doesn't really amount to much. Just imagine every day you go to uh, the tunnel,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
LHC, Large Hadron Collider.
Right, the Large Hadron Collider, and then you see atoms being split, and you're giving names, right? But I don't see the real purpose of it, other than just useless, what you would call experimentation, right? Just like once in this one college, they studied uh, the 10 for 10 years, um, the whether one needs a mother and father, or if one is raised just by one parent. And after 10 years of study, they came up with the conclusion that it's much better to have a mother and father. So it's what you call junk experimentation, right? So um, my uh, my understanding of this is that most of the scientific experimentation taking place now is junk. It's not really needed. They're just spending money, claiming this, claiming that, but not really making any major breakthrough. The number one breakthrough that they made was electromagnetism. Yeah, that was a big breakthrough, and they have things to show for it, all kinds of things, that they've made from that experimentation. Uh, but after that, they haven't really made any major discoveries. There's gravity and electromagnetic force. Those are two things that they have discovered, and based on that, they've been able to make things. Right. After that, there's nothing. They haven't made any major advancement in science after that. Um, so, uh, but they spend millions and millions of dollars. Even medicines, yeah, they're always coming up with new medicines. Some of them are beneficial, and some of them are junk. uh, so, how do you separate the junk from the substantive, uh, research? Uh, most of the research done now is junk. They haven't come up with anything new. I mean, when they found how to control electromagnetism, that was a major advancement in science, right? When they understood, have come up with the knowledge of gravitation or gravity, although they still don't completely understand it, but still that is, advancement of science. Besides that, what else have they come up with? Why don't you ask our shot, whatever it is?
Yeah.
What's the question you want me to?
The question is, have there been any uh, consequential or any
Useful scientific discoveries.
okay, yeah, beneficial discoveries in the discovery of electromagnetism and gravity? They've discovered a lot of ways of killing people faster. Atomic bombs, nuclear bombs, this bomb, that bomb. They have made a lot of advancement in how to kill people faster and in larger quantities. That they've advanced big time. And you'll see that all kinds of military experimentations going on for killing people faster. They also have biological weapons, even though they're not allowed to do that type of research, but they do that type of research. And sometimes the research they do escapes the laboratory, and then you have these epidemics, like uh, AIDS. Where did AIDS come from? So people say, well, yeah, it's because men were having sex with monkeys. Uh, but no, I don't believe that. I think it came from experimentation that was being done. And then that it became expanded outside of the laboratory and caused this epidemic of AIDS.
So I asked the question, have there been any beneficial scientific discoveries since the discovery of electromagnetism and gravity?
Yes.
Is that the right question?
Yes.
So it says, since the discoveries of electromagnetism and gravity, science has progressed vastly across multiple fields, producing discoveries with significant impacts on technology, medicine, and our understanding of the universe. Here are some notable achievements. Quantum mechanics. Developed in the early 20th century, quantum mechanics revealed the behavior of particles at atomic and subatomic levels,
At what? Atomic levels.
atomic levels and subatomic levels, leading to revolutionary technologies such as transistors, lasers, and semiconductors. These advancements paved the way for modern computers, digital communication, and medical imaging technologies. Then the second one is relativity theory. Albert Einstein's relativity theory and special and general relativity transformed our understanding of space, time, and gravity. These theories explain phenomena such
They're
as
still theories.
these theories explain phenomena such as gravitational time dilation and are crucial for technologies like GPS, the global positioning system, which relies on precise time measurements corrected for relativistic effects to provide accurate location data. DNA and genetic engineering. The discovery of DNA structure by Watson and Crick in 1953 revolutionized biology and medicine. Advances in genetics have led to genome sequencing, genetic engineering, and gene editing technology, which have applications in medicine like cancer treatment and agriculture, like genetically modified crops. Medical imaging and treatments. Technologies such as MRI, CT scans, and ultrasound, all based on the principles of physics, allow doctors to view internal body structures without surgery. Additionally, radiation therapy for cancer treatment uses knowledge of atomic structure and electromagnetism, improving survival rates for numerous diseases. Antibiotics and vaccines. The discovery of antibiotics and advancements in vaccine technology have saved countless lives and eradicated or controlled diseases such as smallpox and polio. Vaccine research continues to be vital, demonstrated by the rapid development of COVID-19 vaccines using mRNA technology. Then the next bucket is the standard model of particle physics. Research facilities at facilities like CERN and discoveries such as Higgs boson have furthered our understanding of fundamental particles and forces, confirming the standard model and helping us explore dark matter, antimatter, and potential for new physics. Information technology and internet. The development of integrated circuits and internet have transformed communication, commerce, and education worldwide. Electromagnetic principles underlying much of the technology, from fiber optic cables to wireless communications, making vast amounts of information accessible globally. These discoveries have reshaped human civilization, demonstrating how scientific knowledge, once theoretical, can evolve into transformative technologies and medical advancements, impacting nearly every aspect of the modern life.
Sounds good.
They keep saying it can, it can,
But
it
still,
can.
people are dying every day, right? So whether you can die at 30 years old or you die at 80 years old, you're still dying, right? So they haven't really made a major breakthrough. The whole idea of science was to attain immortality. That was the whole, that's how it started. They were trying to find out, that elixir of immortality. Now, are they giving more years of life to living entities, to human beings, let's say? It maybe somewhat, but still, no one is living past 100 years, uh, even with all the technology that they have, right? And are they able to heal, let's say, diseases? Maybe, you know, but still, people die. Most people die before by 80. So they haven't really increased the life expectancy of like beyond 100 years with all the research they've done. So there are people that, they never even go to doctors and they live to be 100 years old, right? And they always say, well, what was your secret? And I said, well, I know I was smoking and I was doing everything. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's my genes or something. And other people say, well, yeah, I gave up meat eating and all these things. But still, they're dying. I don't see many, what do you call it, octogenarians, or uh, they haven't increased the life expectancy that much. What is the life expectancy? Has it increased?
It definitely increased from in the last 500 years. From the people used to die in the, I think we studied last time. It went up to now 72 or 82 years. Let's see, how did the life expectancy?
But it hasn't gone beyond 100 years,
Yeah,
no matter what you do. But there are some people that get 110, 115, but they're very rare.
But how much ever scientific advancements we do, but none of them are helping humans to get connected to the Lord. So it doesn't
Well,
matter.
that's not science, Steve. For them, that's not science. They they don't call that science because science is you can, I mean, real science would be that you crossbreed a monkey with a human being. If they could do that, they would call that, a major scientific breakthrough. And they've tried. How come they can't do that? They have all this gene experimentation and everything, but to actually create a mixed monkey man uh, or improve, let's say, the lifespan of human beings, or create, something that gives people seriously extended lifespan. They haven't really done that.
so life expectancy before 1800s, the pre-industrial era, averaging between 30 to 40 years. High infant mortality rates, poor sanitation, lack of medical knowledge, frequent pandemics contributed to this short lifespan. Then in the 19th century, life expectancy in many industrial nations began to rise, albeit slowly. Improved agricultural practices led to better nutrition, and small advancements in medicine started to reduce mortality rates. However, the urbanization often caused overcrowded and unsanitary living conditions, which limited gains in life expectancy in cities. By the end of the century, 19th century, the life expectancy was around, in the developed countries, was around 40 to 50 years. Then in the early 20th century, that means in the 1900s, life expectancy saw a significant increase due to public health measures like improved sanitization, vaccination programs, and better understanding of infectious diseases. The discovery of antibiotics, such as penicillin, was revolutionary, reducing deaths from bacterial infections. By mid century, life expectancy in many countries has risen to about 60 years. Then, late 20th century, post World War II, saw rapid advances in medical sciences, science, nutrition, public health, and further driving up life expectancy. Vaccination programs eradicated and or controlled diseases such as smallpox and polio, while antibiotics and advanced surgical procedures became widely accessible. Developed countries saw life expectancies reaching 70 to 80 years, while some developing countries began to catch up with improved health infrastructure. Now, 21st century as now globally is averaging over 70 years worldwide, not in just the advanced countries. So factors include better healthcare access, new treatments for chronic diseases, and improved social conditions. Developed countries often have life expectancies above 80 years, and many developing countries are also seeing significant gains. So that's the progression from about 30, 40 years to nearly doubled it, 70 to 80 years now. But they have a limit. Beyond that, probably can't go into.
The limit is 100 years.
Yeah.
And there's some exceptions, but very rare. Yeah, so they haven't made major, let's say, breakthrough. It's not that, now there's, they used to die by 40 years old, and now they can live to be 150 years old. No. The cutoff point is 100 years. Very few people reach that. Very people past that threshold. They're very, very rare. So the whole point is they have not found, let's say, the elixir of immortality. Like, for example, trees. Some trees, 5 or 10,000 years old. They're living entities. But they can live much, much longer. And some bugs and things like that, they live a long time. So what is it? Okay, so because of different types of medicines, they can stop certain diseases, but people are still dying. Most people don't get past 60, 65. Most people. What is the life expectancy now? 70,
70 to 70 years worldwide on average, but in developed countries it's like 80 years.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hope they find the elixir of immortality. Okay, so there's a lot of takeaways from this purport today. And probably have to read this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
One of the main points is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described herein. He is not a temporary person, nor does he have a beginning. He is without a cause, and he is the cause of all causes. Para means transcendental, beyond the creative energy. The Lord is the creator of the creative energy. We can see that there is a creative energy in the material world, but he is not under this energy. He is Prakriti Para, beyond this energy. He is not subjected to the threefold miseries. Miseries of this body, miseries caused by other bodies, and miseries caused by natural cataclysmic events. He is not subjected to the threefold miseries created by the material energy because he is beyond it. The modes of material nature do not touch him. It is explained here. Swayam Jyoti. He is light himself. We have experience in the material world of one's lights being a reflection of another, just as moonlight is a reflection of the sunlight. Sunlight is also the reflection of the Brahmajyoti. And similarly, Brahmajyoti, the spiritual quality, is a reflection of the body of the Supreme Lord. Now that those 2-3 sentences are extremely important if you want to understand what's actually happening in nature. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Yasya Prabha Prabhavata. The Brahmajyoti or Brahman effulgence is due to his bodily luster. Therefore, it is said here, Swayam Jyoti. He himself is light, and his light is distributed in different ways as the Brahmajyoti, as sunlight, as moonlight. Bhagavad Gita confirms that in the spiritual world, there's no need of sunlight, moonlight, or electricity. The Upanishads also confirm this because the bodily luster of the Supreme Persona Godhead is sufficient to illuminate the spiritual world. There is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or any other light for electricity. This self-illumination also contradicts the theory that the spirit soul or the spiritual consciousness developed at a certain point in material combination. The term Swayam Jyoti indicates that there is no hinge of anything material or any material reaction. It is confirmed here that the concept of the Lord's all-pervasiveness is due to his illumination everywhere. We have experienced that the sun is sustained in one place, but the sunlight is diffused all around for millions and millions of miles. That is our practical experience. Similarly, although the supreme light is situated in his personal abode, like Kunta or Vrindavana, his light is diffused not only in the spiritual world, but beyond that. In the material world also, that light is reflected by the sun globe, and the sunlight is reflected by the moon globe. Thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material world. So therefore, basically what he's saying here is the sun and the moonlight are actually spiritual, right? They're not of the material world. Just like now, they're spending billions of dollars trying to create fusion electricity because they think that is what is the cause of the sunlight. But that's not what it says here. It says that it is confirmed here that the concept of the Lord's all-pervasiveness is due to his illumination everywhere. We have experienced that the sun is situated in one place, but the sunlight is diffused all around for millions and millions of miles. That is our practical experience. Similarly, although the supreme light is situated in his personal abode, Vaikuntha or Vrindavana, his light is diffused not only in the spiritual world, but beyond that, in the material world also. That light is reflected by the sun globe, and the sunlight is reflected by the moon globe. Thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material worlds. Well, therefore, and then you can talk about electricity also. Electricity is possible because it's coming from the sun, and the sun is coming from Krishna, right? So uh, scientists haven't discovered that yet. Thus, although he's situated in his own abode, his light, meaning light that's distributed, is distributed all over the spiritual and material world. So all the light that we see is coming from the body of Krishna. They haven't discovered that. Yeah. Okay, so we learned something new here. The sunlight, the moonlight, all of that is coming originally from Krishna, from his body. So the body of Krishna is actually where all the illumination in the universe is coming from. It's coming from. So therefore it says, Golokaya Eva Nivasati Akilatma Bhuta. He is living in Gokula, but still he is present all over the creation. He is the super soul of everything, the supreme personality of God, and he has innumerable transcendental qualities. It is also concluded that although he is undoubtedly a person, he is not a Purusha of this material world. No, before that it says, yeah, it says, it is confirmed here that the concept of the Lord's all pervasiveness is due to his illumination everywhere. We have experienced that the sun is situated in one place, but the sunlight is diffused all around for millions and millions of miles. That is our practical experience. Similarly, although the supreme light is situated in his personal abode, like Kunta or Vrindavan, his light is diffused not only in the spiritual world, but beyond that. In the material world also, that light is reflected by the sun globe, and the sunlight is reflected by the moon globe. Thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material world. There it is. So the light of the sun, the light of the moon, all that is actually spiritual light. And it's coming from the body of Krishna. Goloka Eva Nivasati Akilatma Bhuta. He is living in Goloka, but still he is present all over the creation by his, all over the creation. No, it said, yeah. He is living in Goloka, but still he is present all over the creation. He is the super soul of everything, the supreme personality Godhead, and he has innumerable transcendental qualities. It is also concluded that although he is undoubtedly a person, he is not a Purusha in the material world. So in other words, thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material worlds. That means everything we're saying, sunlight, moonlight, and so forth, it's all coming from the body of Krishna. We would not be able to live without the sunlight, the moonlight. But both of those things are coming from the body of Krishna. This is science. Even electricity coming from Krishna. Haribol. So this type of knowledge helps us to become Krishna conscious. It's not that, well, like science, they say, well, they give an explanation of sunlight, they give an explanation of moonlight, right? And those explanations are not correct or complete. So, if you talk to a real scientist, he'll say, well, we don't really understand these things. We've given names to these things, but we don't really understand, what is the origin of the sunlight? Well, let's say, well, the origin of sunlight is the sun, right? But where's the sun? Where's the light coming from? And how is it being generated? They don't really know. They're trying to emulate it with their research, making gigantic reactors and things like that. But they have not been able to actually produce fusion technology, which is what they think the sun's energy is created. It's created by what they call fusion technology. But they haven't been able to emulate it because it's not fusion technology. It's coming from the body of the Lord. What does it say there about fusion technology?
So I think the fundamental argument here we're saying is that no matter what the progress of science is, I mean, because there are, if we say like there's no absolute value of science, everybody will tell you that because there is some benefit of it, but it is not permanent, right? So we cannot get over the birth, death, old age, disease cycle, no matter how much of the progress of science can make.
Yeah.
So we don't have to necessarily deny the progress science is making that might be temporarily valuable, but it doesn't solve the fundamental problems that are established by Shastra, because that
By what?
by our
Shastras.
right, which are the birth, or death, and old age and disease cannot be, altered by the progress, any amount of scientific progress, because it's in a temporary dimension.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could spend billions of dollars, but you won't alter those four.
Birth, death, old age.
So and that illusion of progress leads a lot of people to become atheists. And that's the disadvantage.
Oh no, they're waiting for the scientists to create the solution to death.
Yeah.
Freezing the bodies and all those things. Yeah, freezing the dead body.
Yeah.
Cryonics.
Yeah.
All these things because
They're going to be crying. They're going to be crying.
hoping that one day science will evolve that they can come back to life.
Well, as soon as they're frozen, they're dead anyway. So, by the way, there have been laboratories where they had, bodies that were frozen, and then they went bankrupt. And all the frozen bodies died.
Because there's no power.
Yes. Anyway, as soon as they freeze you, you're dead. It's not that they can bring back. When I should look at it, they freeze bodies, right? Now, I'm sure that when you unfreeze a body that's frozen, you end up with a dead body. Huh?
That's natural, because I think they are of the hope that at some point they'll find something and then inject into this body
and bring it back.
And then bring it back.
That says what if the power goes out?
Yeah.
After
The power has gone out.
Yeah.
Some of them have shut down. So time check about 7:42. Any quick questions on today's topic?
Focus disappearance.
Yeah.
Maharaj mentioned it. Yeah, today is also fasting till fasting till
If
And
you
that-
freeze a body and then thaw it, it's going to be dead.
yeah.
So
Yeah, this is the same concept of mummification. People tried it in different
yeah,
ages. Somehow bodily concept of life,
keep the body
keep the
alive.
body alive.
Yeah,
Same thing, even concept of Christians. Um, like they have this, what is it?
Mummification.
Not mummification, but they also uh, bury the body
yeah,
with
yeah.
with the intent that
Second coming.
second coming.
yes.
So that's also somewhat of a bodily
All
concept.
based on the body.
Yeah, there's no concept of soul.
Yeah.
So these are all
Well, I mean,
illusory ideas.
they don't believe that uh, the soul is different than the body.
Yeah.
That's why they have cemeteries, because they believe there's a second coming of Christ. And you have to have a body in order to be resurrected.
Yeah.
That's why they have cemeteries. I mean, the Hindus, they correctly burn the body, right? But the Christians, they try and preserve the body, waiting for the second coming of Christ, where all the bodies will resurrect from the from their caskets, and there'll be a final judgment. Some people will go to heaven, some people will die. So this is all what you call eschatology. It's a good word, eschatology. Eschatology means the finality of things.
Mm.
It's a science, actually, a type of science. So, eschatology.
The
It's the
study of that.
study of the end of the world, of the final events in human history.
Well, let's ask a question. Does the world come to an end? Yeah, there are these periods where there's destruction right up to the highest planets, but not complete destruction, but partial destruction. And then there are exceptional periods where there's complete destruction, and then it comes back again. So everything is destined to die in the material world. That's why they call the earth Martia Loka, the place of death. But that doesn't mean the soul dies, but the bodies die. Okay, so we will stop there and we'll talk about Srila Prabhupada later on today.
Maharaj, is there a takeaway for today?
What?
Takeaway?
What?
Key takeaway?
Oh, yeah, the key takeaway is one place. It is confirmed here that the concept of the Lord's all pervasiveness is due to his illumination everywhere. We have experienced that the sun is situated in one place, but the sunlight is diffused all around for millions and millions of miles. That is our practical experience. Similarly, although the sun, supreme light, is situated in his personal abode, Vaikuntha or Vrindavana, his light is diffused not only in the spiritual world, but beyond that. In the material world also, that light is reflected by the sun globe, and the sunlight is reflected by the moon globe. Thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material worlds. It's our takeaway. So whenever you see the sun or the moon, it's actually spiritual light. It's not a material thing. That's why things grow because of light. Right? Because it's not a material thing, it's spiritual. How about the light bulb? The light right now, but its origin is spiritual also.
Mhm.
It's coming from electricity, and electricity is generated mercy of the Lord. Yeah. Now, okay? What is okay? Lightning is electricity, right? So, how did they control the energy of lightning? Obviously, they have. Otherwise, how are they generating light?
They means
Huh?
they means who are we referring to? How are they?
The scientists. Okay, like right now we're seeing the sun.
Mhm.
So when there's sunlight, you can see things, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, the sun will be covered
Mhm.
and it gets really dark. But the sun is not dead, right? It's not. It's just. It's being hidden
Mhm.
by the uh, moon. Is it the moon? I think
It's on the other side of the
Other
earth.
side of, yeah, other side of the earth.
yeah, the other side of it. Okay. So, but there's still light. It's just that it's being hidden by the moon or the movement of the sun. Is it the moon or is it the movement of the sun?
The movement of the earth.
The earth, when it rotates,
Yeah,
right? So sun is one place, and then the earth is rotating.
right.
So because we rotate, it's like a globe. So we don't see the other side of it.
Okay.
We are in the shadow, Maharaj.
Yeah,
Shadow.
there's a nice explanation of it uh, with a picture that shows why the sun is hidden uh, and by its uh, orbit. I have to find that and I'll show you. All right. Anyway, we will stop there and continue later on today. I'm sure we're going to have some kind of program for
Yeah,
people.
the temple there is a
Is it noon or is it evening?
no in the evening,
Okay, good.
but fasting till noon. And
Yeah.
are there any quick questions? I think Namakirti Mataji, you unmuted.
Um, yeah, Prabhu, we follow the eclipse thing, right? Grahanam and all, some rules. So should we follow or based on Shastras or what is it?
Yeah, so the eclipse and all, do we follow the rules like way that are basically before coming to Krishna consciousness, like Brahmanas had certain things not to do's and do's during eclipses,
Right.
right? Whether to follow them or not is the question.
Yes,
You're
Prabhu.
asking?
Yeah, I'm rephrasing her question.
Well, we follow the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. So in Krishna consciousness, does it say that you should not go out on a day where there's an eclipse? No,
No.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Of course,
I mean-
you shouldn't, with the raw eye, you shouldn't look at the eclipse. They can damage your eyes.
My question, I mean, that's not necessarily in the four regulative principles. So there is probably a lot more. Like we don't necessarily deny. Let's say, for example, they specifically say pregnant women should not be exposed
Yeah.
to the sunlight during eclipses. They highly recommend because it can affect the child growth.
Okay.
Even scientists say that. Even modern scientists also agree that.
It says that in the Vedas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, like particularly, they don't allow them to come out, and I mean, at least that's been. I don't know the specific Veda, but we can probably look up. But it's definitely coming in the Indian culture.
Uh-huh.
And the child might be born with some deformities.
And so on. It can affect the child's
Wow.
because these rays can be so strong.
Okay. I'm not going to go out anymore. I'm burying myself in my bed there. But obviously, it's you have a very strange feeling when there's an eclipse. No doubt about it. And if you actually look at the eclipse, it actually can endanger your eyesight.
Mhm. Yeah. Even scientists themselves, somebody used a telescope.
Yeah.
Forgot whose name it is. He's a scientist.
Yeah.
Watched the eclipse.
Eclipse.
He lost his eye.
Really?
Yeah.
That's research.
Yeah, that's the research proven.
Okay,
well, it's time check.
Harivilas, thank you very much. Oh, gracious.
Prabhupada ki jai.